All right, scale and proportion. Scale is used to describe the dimensions of an art object in relation to the original object that it depicts, or in relation to the object around it. It kind of means the size in relation to the standard or quote normal size. If you think of like a Matchbox car as a scale replica of a real car. Um, Proportion refers to the relationship between the parts of an object and the whole, or the relationship between an object and its surroundings. We'll take a look at some examples here. Take a look at this, scale and proportion. All right, so scale. We have these little people on the bottom. This is Dohosu sculpture. Little people on the bottom. Scale and purport. Scale is a much smaller human than a quote normal size human. And this pedestal in proportion is a lot larger than the people. The people are a lot smaller in proportion to the pedestal. Okay? So the scale is the object that it depicts. Proportion is an object as a whole or relationship to its surroundings. Here's another Dohosu. Small people holding up a normal human size human. So yeah, that's kind of scale, right? So it's kind of easy to get. Proportion again, scale and proportion. Scale, obviously, a larger scale than the item than the quote normal size of a cherry and the normal size of the spoon. See the person sitting over here, right? And if you think about proportion and an object and its surroundings, this is a very large spoon in the sense of its surroundings. You can't miss it. And we use proportion and scale, artists use proportion and scale to really draw attention to if something is really large or really tiny, we're drawn to those instead of just a normal size painting, a normal size sculpture. Those really stand out in our society. That's Claes Oldenburg, by the way, and this is another Claes Oldenburg. These are public art projects. Just taking an ordinary object and exploding the scale and making them huge. And it's hard not to notice those things, right? In proportion, this wave is in proportion. You see Mount Fuji in the bottom and its surroundings, much larger than its background. Yes, we know that's in the distance. Culturally, Japan. If you look at a lot of paintings and prints of Japan, it's hard not to find one without Mount Fuji in the background. But this is kind of one of those like fish tales. Like the more the story gets told, the bigger the fish. Well, the more the story gets told, the bigger the wave. The wave was huge. Oh, it was enormous. It could have swallowed up Mount Fuji, right? So they're using the scale and proportion in that sense. All right, this is Felix Gonzalez Torres. I don't know if you remember the pile of candy piece. This is the same guy. I also did photography, but instead of posting his photographs around town in New York, he actually blew them up to billboard size and then posted them around the city. Hard not to notice these billboards. You can Google this piece and find out more about the empty beds after the lecture. But it's hard not to notice these. Imagine just if these were a kind of normal, quote, normal size photographs posted around New York, they'd get lost, right? You wouldn't be able to notice them. So we use proportion and scale to be noticed. Of course, we can't talk about proportion scale without talking, we all live in the South, right? About talking about donks, boxes, bubbles, whatever you want to call them. So proportion scale. Scale of the size of the tire. Large scales, some 24s, 26s. In proportion with the overall size of the car, these are large tires. And then my personal favorite is maybe a regular size tire on a shrunken down car. And that's always a cool approach to it. So yeah, talking about scale and proportion, we're talking about size, right? Large size, small size. So yeah, I think you kind of get that. So we're going to talk about probably rhythm next, right?